Hi guys, welcome to another video. Can you believe I have sold 9 bags this year? From the person who started this channel saying, I never sell bags. I never ever buy a bag to sell it. So why have I ended up selling 9 bags? Which are they? Why have I sold them? Let's unravel it all. There's Chanel, there's Dior, there's Louis Vuitton in this. And some will really surprise you. So let's get going. So from somebody who, in the whole 30 years of collecting handbags, has only really sold one bag, and that was years ago. It was a Fendi Peekaboo bag. And I also sold a couple of Mulberry bags, but I virtually gave those away, so I'm not really counting those. So in that whole 30 years, I've sold one bag, and then this year I've sold 9. So what's happened? What's changed? Let's get cracking. The first one that I sold was my Dior book tote, and I will try and find photos of all of these to put up. Now, yes, this one, what an absolutely beautiful, beautiful bag. Just stunning. I went for grey, of course I did. And I cannot deny this was a beautiful bag. I went for it was the small size when I bought it, but it became the medium because they then brought out a smaller one, etc. So it was that size. And yeah, so why did I sell it? Well, it just didn't work out for me. It was, yeah, it was the bag that I was going to take when I went on all these fancy holidays. And I could just, yeah, I could flatten it down. It would go in the suitcase really easily. And it could be a day bag whenever I was walking along the beach or going to a beach club or all these different things. In reality, I don't do that. I mean, I go on holiday, but yeah, I tend to take my Neverfull or something like that as a really easy big beach bag, and then I'll take a little crossbody for every day. The actual book tote isn't that practical. It looks bigger than it actually is. It's scooped in at the sides. Anyway, it doesn't hold as much as you think. It has to only be a hand carry bag because it doesn't have a shoulder strap, and it gets really heavy and uncomfortable. So yeah, this fantasy world that I thought I was going to be living, yeah, no. So I ended up selling that, and I did okay. I lost some money, but not an horrendous amount. So that was the first one to go. I then sold 2 bags at the same time to the same reseller. And yeah, if you want me to do a separate video on the actual process of selling and who I use and all of that, I can do that separately. This video, I'm just going to tell you which ones I've actually sold. So I sold these 2 together, and it was the Lady Dior in the cloud blue. I feel really bad, but yeah, and also the Chanel Trendy. So these 2 bags I classified as very similar to each other. They were both bags that I think are beautiful. They're both lambskin. They are both quite boxy, quite square. Neither of them work very well crossbody. We've talked about the Lady Dior many times. The handles annoyed me. Mine was the older version with the zipper across the top, and it was, yeah, it was quite a decent sized bag, but what a pain to get in and out of. Couldn't find your things, couldn't see in it, scratch your hand every time you tried to use the zip. Anyway, it was a beautiful bag. I just never ever used it. I had it for 7 or 8 years and literally used it not even a handful of times. The Trendy, I've talked about the Chanel Trendy. I waited for that bag 4 years in that combination to come. And I was so disappointed. Disappointed in the lambskin, disappointed in just in general. It just, yeah, it just didn't work for me. And I've realised since then that I just love caviar. I just love Chanel caviar. I don't love lambskin. So I sold both of those too. I then decided, I did a video, which I'm sure you might have seen, and I explained how I really don't like the S-Lock. I don't like the satchel size and style of bag. I don't like the Louis Vuitton S-Lock. It annoys me. Anyway, go look at that video. It scratches really easily. And whilst doing all those videos, I just kept thinking, I don't know why I'm persevering with the Pochette Métis. It's not my favourite bag. I use it I have used it. I've used it a lot over the years, but it was always a bag I didn't care about. And I have other bags that I can use when I need to be a bit inconspicuous, or, you know, something that's a bit more weatherproof, that type of thing. And I just didn't love it. And I thought, you know what? I will just try and sell it and we will see. It will be worth nothing. And if I get nothing for it, I won't sell it. I don't need the money in that respect. So I'm not going to give it away. So I decided to put it on Vestiaire Collective and just see. And I put it on at what I thought was sort of quite a high price, really, but I just thought it seemed in line with all the others on there, and I thought if I get that for it, I will be absolutely laughing. Anyway, I did. So in effect, I pretty much got my money back on that one. And I think the reason why was because, and it was so battered, it really was, and it was very worn, it was well loved, and all the rest of it. And that was made clear in all the photos and description. It was really heavily scratched on the hardware, but I virtually got my money back. I think I got something like £100 less than what I paid for it, and I'd had it years and years and years. So I think it was just sort of the time value of money, and the fact that, yeah, I'd had it for so long and so many price increases had happened at Louis Vuitton that, yeah, it was still a bargain to somebody. So I was absolutely thrilled, thrilled. And I haven't missed it at all. I haven't. And then hot on the heels of that one, I decided to try my luck in the same direction with the Louis Vuitton Montaigne bag. And again, yeah, I lost a little bit more on this, but I got a really, really good amount of money back for it. And yeah, I think the people that have got it are so happy. They are, honestly, they've got what they feel is a bargain. I feel like I've got a reasonable amount for it. Both of them were sat on a shelf, not doing anything. Just brilliant. Yeah, just absolutely brilliant. This one might surprise you, I then decided to sell my other book tote, my Dior book tote in the blue oblique. And you may be really surprised at this, and I was sort of surprised at myself. But when I took a proper look, I sat back and I took a proper look at my collection, and I didn't want it getting too big. I wanted to make sure I was using all my bags, and yeah, that one was just, the times I had used it, and my daughter had used it as well, it's just not practical. And I sort of knew that when I bought it. I think I just didn't care. I loved it. I loved blue oblique, but the handles were really uncomfortable. That was the bigger size. It gets really, really heavy. Yeah, and again, I think it's a bit for your fantasy world where you think you're going on holiday and it's on top of your little roll-on suitcase and it looks amazing. And when you get to your resort, you walk into your beach club. I just use my Neverfull. It's so much easier. Or I use my Chanel Deauville, and I just think that's so much more practical. And I just love it a lot more. So I just thought, I don't need, we don't need any of these things, do we? But I certainly didn't need 3 really large tote bags like that. And I just thought, out of the 3, the Neverfull is never, ever, ever going anywhere. And the Deauville is never, ever, ever going anywhere. I wouldn't even contemplate selling those or not having those. So for me, it was, the book totes just sat there. So again, if I can get a decent price for it, I will let it go. And I did. I lost a little bit of money, but I was really, really happy. And again, haven't missed it. Have not missed it. So, okay, all this time that all these bags are being sold throughout this year, I've tried to sell my capucines in the MM. It was a PM when I bought it. It became the MM, the larger size one. Mine was in the Tyrolean leather, in the gallet colour with the python handle. This was, because it has gone, this was the most beautiful bag, honestly. But I never used it, ever. It's so beautiful, but it's also very heavy, very big, very boxy. And once I got, again, I've told this story before, once I was able to buy a couple of Hermes bags, such as the Birkin 30, in particular the Birkin 30 in Etoupe, which is a similar-ish colour to the Gallet, I would never, ever reach for the capucines. I just wouldn't. I should have bought a BB size. If I'd have bought a BB size, I would have used it. I would still have it. I would love it. I made a big mistake with that one. I made a rash decision based on the fact I didn't think I'd be able to get a Birkin. I bought it, and within 3 weeks, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks, I got a call that the Birkin was available. So yeah, I made a mistake, and it was a very expensive one. Now, there's a whole story behind this one, so I might do a separate video on actually my experience of selling these bags. But yeah, I had a nightmare. All this year, virtually, I've been trying to sell that bag, and it was only very recently that I managed to sell it. And I actually, in the end, I do think I got a really good deal. But when you look at what I paid for it and what I got for it, it's horrendous. So in a way, it's not a good deal, but based on what I could sell it for in all these avenues that I tried, what I ended up selling it for was actually very, very good. So I can do a separate video on that. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to hear the whole story and what I actually sold it for in the end. But anyway, it has now gone to its new owner, who is exceptionally happy. So yeah, another success story. And then we come to the monoglam. So yeah, I did sell it. I did. And again, this was a mistake. This was a mistake buying it. I've talked about this in other videos. I don't love the Pochette Métis style bag. I don't love the S-Lock. I don't like, I don't know, the satchel style, the boxiness. It wasn't really my favourite. I didn't like the strap on the East-West Pochette Métis. I've talked about that a million times. I loved the monoglam. I loved the actual finish of it. I just thought it was beautiful. And I think I bought the best of the ones available, shall we put it that way. Anyway, I made a mistake. So, yeah, there's a whole story behind it. It was defective. I've got a new one. It was all sorted. I should have just returned it and got a credit, but of course, no, I didn't. I persevered, thinking, oh, once I get one that isn't defective, I'll love it. I didn't. Anyway, I sold it, and the person that got this was absolutely thrilled to bits. Now, I lost a tiny bit of money. I didn't get my full money back, but it wasn't far off. I would not have sold it otherwise. I would have just kept it. I wouldn't give any of these bags away. I just wouldn't. But the funds that I have raised, or realised, if you like, from selling these bags has allowed me to buy more bags this year than I otherwise would have been able to. So it's all good. It's all good. I have another bag up for sale, and yeah, you'll be really, really surprised which one it is. But once I have sold that, I will tell you the whole story. So you'll have to stay tuned, and I will talk to you about that in another one. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on another one.